All right, so we just started up on Amazon Prime, and we got Moraine giving narration.
Men who were born with great power believed they could cage darkness itself. The arrogance.
Okay. Automatically, Moraine never said arrogance in the entire Wheel of Time series. So her saying it off the bat is totally off character. Is not something that she would do. And then we got like, oh, her putting like armor and or like whatever, this other stuff. Making this all about Moraine in the very beginning is really not the series. I understand that it's like deflection.
Is that this child is coming of age now, and we must find them.
This is so fucking bullshit. This is bull. This is bull. They're making something out of nothing. They're putting Moraine in this situation where it's like, sorry, that's not the Moraine. That's not how. They're totally changing how the book started, which is fundamentally flawed. I'm actually going to turn the volume down a little bit so that I can not have to compete too much, and so it's not too much volume. So what we have is a bunch of women on horses galloping to these two barbaric looking men, right? And of course, all the women are wearing red, for color, and telling the guys to stop, which is so silly. Like, why would they be stopping? Then this is the biggest issue. So then she uses her Aes Sedai powers. Presumably, she's an Aes Sedai. She uses magical powers to totally block this one pathway. And for so many reasons, this is flawed. Because sorry, that might have been people's way of like trading and stuff like that. So you just totally block that. So F you. And then on top of that, it's like, okay, hold on. The red Aes Sedai, why do they have their colors are so obvious? Like, that's just a bit much. It's a by a bit much. It's like a lot much. It's like really obvious. Like, oh my god, these are women and they're red and they have powers. And it's a bit much. And then she's, whatever, having a conversation. And then she's going to do what she's ever going to do with this guy. And it's just wrong. It's wrong. This was never in the book at all. So I'm just pissed off by what they're doing right now. Because this serves no purpose at all. This is just like malarkey. Also, I want to say the Aes Sedai ring. Oh, okay. So hold on real quick. So we have her using this weird thing where she's using the power in the sky. Okay. And it's like super duper painful, which is not how that works. It's called gentling for a reason, or stilling for a reason. It's not a super painful thing, right? So that's weird. The ring is also wrong. Like, there's no indication whatsoever in the entire series that, like, oh, whatever section of the Aes Sedai, that's your color and that's in your ring. No, their ring is very straightforward. It's the snake biting itself. It's a very simple thing. It could honestly be confused with like a marriage ring. So having it be like, oh, the snake biting itself, plus you also have this a stone in the middle to indicate which Aes Sedai you're in. I will say this is Amazeballs. There's a scene where you get this like post-apocalyptic setting where it looks like a bunch of high-rises that are all like greened over. That mad props. Bra effing O. Because that is something that is like a very deep cut on the series. So I'll give them that. Mad props. So far, everything else, totally wrong and totally messed up. But that was super cool. Bravo. Because in a weird way, the Wheel of Time actually starts like many years after where we are now. Okay, and now we have this conversation where Nynaeve is bringing Egwene into, like, oh, hey, you're in the Two Rivers and now you're a woman, which is not a thing that's in the book, is totally a made-up malarkey thing, and is BS. Is BS. For starters, Egwene was not a woman, okay? So having her become a woman at this juncture really doesn't fit within the thing. But I will say this, they cast all these actors in their like early 20s, and then they notably changed the thing. They're like, oh, instead of these guys and girls being like 17 or whatever, we're gonna make them like 21-year-olds. But the problem with that is, okay, that changes the dynamic of the books. The reason why you had 17-year-olds is then the silliness that they get involved in is relevant. It makes sense. Okay? But now if you have 21-year-olds, it's like, well, now you have a different silliness and different things that happen. Okay, so Egwene gets pushed down this thing, and then she experienced bliss. The whole thing, I almost want to just skip all this malarkey because it's not the books. It's total bullcrap. I can't see any like small town doing this where we're like, we're just gonna throw our girls down this river and then hope that they survive this like stage 4 rapids, and voila, they're women. And then of course, like, I'm just loving her dress. It's like this blue dress with like a hint of color, and it's kind of see-through but not. And now we get into the books, okay, where you got Rand, okay, and his dad, okay, Tam, and they're going to town, but we don't see them going to town, right? For the record, they make it seem like they're in this like very mountainous area. No, where they originally were from, like the concept, my understanding of it in the books is it's pretty much a straight line. There's no mountains and hills. It's just a long trek. So doing this mountain road BS is like BS. It's literally BS. So why are we doing this? And again, this is stuff that is not in the books. So they're just making this up. They're like, oh, we're just, you know what? Robert Jordan, extremely successful author, but you know, we're just going to make our own thing. That's what they're doing. That's what's upsetting. Okay, so now we have the Two Rivers, which is somebody's idea of the Two Rivers. We have some women, lots of flowers and stuff like that. But, you know, it's just like, okay, yeah, people are going to be doing that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, people are still working. And now you're in this bar, which is like super duper full. Super duper full. Again, not in the book. No, these are normal working people. They would not be drinking in the middle of the day. Middle of the day. No. They have work to be doing. And now we introduce Mat and Perrin. And Mat is a bad gambler and loses, which is, he was not a gambler. He was a shyster and a troublemaker, but not a gambler at this point. So they're trying to like jump the shark on this, and it's like, no, not okay. Not okay. This is malarkey. And Perrin, all of a sudden, Perrin's married. Sorry, no, Perrin's not married. Not married until later in the series, in the book series. So why all of a sudden Perrin is married? I have no idea. Just no. Just wrong. No. Oh my gosh. So Matt's just gambling again because, you know, whatever. And we're trying to introduce all these 3 characters. And not only that, but Matt's like, oh, I'm going to steal this bracelet. And it's like, oh, okay. So they've been there long enough for Mat to lose a boatload of money. Egwene comes in And voila, yay, she's a woman now. Oh my gosh. Yay, so amazing. And I love how, I mean, I don't really care, but they made this town the most diverse town ever. Like, seriously, ever. I don't think I've ever been into a town with this much diversity. So they just ratchet up the diversity quota. They're like, cool. Like, every other person needs to be some other shade of white. Or some other shade of brown, rather. So one person, 1 in 4 is white, basically. And it's like, okay, you're clearly trying to go for a diversity quota, but you don't understand that the whole world is a diversity quota. That's how the world was built. So, and again, this bar, like, do these people not work? They go home. This is not like LA where you have this huge tavern and people just go and this is a main thoroughfare. No, this is a small little town in the middle of freaking nowhere. Nobody comes, nobody visits. It's very small, okay? The event is happening the next day. Like, don't try and make 20 odd people, 30 odd people in the bar. That's just ridiculous. Then you have this dramatic entrance of Lan Mandragoran coming in, or these boots. Sorry, I know who it is. But you have these boots coming in, out of the rain, so fancy. Which is really not, is totally the opposite of the book. Totally the opposite. Read the book, you'll enjoy it. I also want to point out how ridiculous it is that he's got a cloak on and yet his sword's on his back. That doesn't make any sense. How would your sword be on its back and yet you'd still be covered from the rain? Sorry, doesn't make any sense. You'd have to poke a hole in your cloak, which would kind of defeat the point of a cloak. So if you're going to wear a cloak, you'd have your sword, right here, not on your back. If you don't have a cloak, then yeah, have it on your back. That makes sense. Okay, and then we're getting into this whole like, oh no, they don't, Sedai, Aes Sedai, oh my gosh. This is, I'm so annoyed. You know what, guys and gals? I'm gonna do this in bits. So we're like 12 minutes into this. I'm just gonna take a pause, and we're gonna do this later because right now this is upsetting me. This is just wrong. This is just wrong. You have a whole bar filled with people, which is not relevant to the thing. And then you got Perrin and Rand and and all this stuff, and it's like, nope, sorry, none of this is relevant, none of this is important. Like, I'm sorry. And Nynaeve doesn't act like Nynaeve. She's not Nynaeve. This is so malarkey. And again, so Perrin, so this is rich. Perrin has been drinking in the bar for a couple of hours now, and his wife, who we find out is pregnant, is working at the blacksmith. Like, she's being a blacksmith. She's pregnant, being a blacksmith in a fantasy setting. Fascinating. Despite all the things that are wrong with that, Perrin was an apprentice blacksmith. Okay, an apprentice. And yeah, no, blacksmithing stops at a certain point because of freaking light. Oh, all these candles and all this other stuff. Yeah, we can have lighting. It's like, no. You do it based on sunlight because candles are expensive. This is just disgusting. They got this all wrong. All right, so I'm pausing. I just want you guys to know that right now, off the bat, we're 12, 13 minutes into this, and there's so many fundamental things that are wrong with this series. So if you want to know why Wheel of Time is so amazeballs, listen to the audiobook. That's good. Read the book. That's good. Way better so far than what they made. What they made is a utter bastardization. It's better than the Sword of Truth series. I'll give them that, because that was pretty bad. But this is a different kind of bad. It's just like They knew enough to add certain things, and then it was just like, okay, so we're gonna take this, and then we're gonna go way over here with it, way over there, and that's upsetting to me. So we're gonna do this in parts because I don't know if I could stand the whole thing in one go. I'm upset right now. I'm upset because it's just wrong. It's just wrong. So we'll do this. This is part 1. We'll do part 2 tomorrow. Maybe even part 2 and 3. Because I think I need to do it in parts. Because otherwise I'm gonna. Anyways, so that's Wheel of Time episode 1. Again, if you're interested about the series or whatever, I would highly suggest you read the book. If you can't do that and you're like, I don't have time to read, sit down and read, I understand. Listen to the audiobook. I got my lady into it, and she's been getting into it. I mean, it's taken a bit of time, but she's gotten into it, and it's a really, really good series. It's really good. There are some flaws. It's not perfect, but there's no series that's perfect, and this is one of the closest to it. Anyhow, ladies and gents, thank you very much. Tune in soon.